HTX, the Justin Sun-owned cryptocurrency exchange, has an unusual set of reserves. A troubling set of reserves. A set of reserves that raises serious concerns about the exchange management and how they use user funds. Thanks to a tool that HTX distributes, Protos was able to take a detailed look at the HTX reserves dating back to 2023. What this analysis revealed is that many of the assets are not what users would expect, but that instead they are often either strange tokenized variants or, for many of the assets, lent out and not actually stored on the exchange. Consider Bitcoin, one of the most important assets at HTX, making up over 1/4 of the total reserves. At the beginning of December, there was a total of over 20,000 Bitcoins that were supposed to be on the exchange, worth approximately $1.8 billion. However, the majority of this is not native Bitcoin. The majority is what HTX refers to as BTC-TRC20. This is a tokenized version of Bitcoin that is issued on the Justin Sun-founded Tron blockchain. However, this is not a tokenized version that people use frequently, like Justin Sun-advised wrapped Bitcoin. Instead, this version is a Sun special, issued by Justin Sun-owned Poloniex. What makes this massive portion of the reserves, worth nearly $1 billion, even more problematic is that we do not know where the Bitcoin meant to collateralize it are stored. Presumably, they are held by Poloniex, but Poloniex itself was unwilling to disclose to Protos where the collateral for this token is held. Furthermore, this token would make up approximately 98% of all Bitcoin disclosed in the Poloniex proof of reserves, leaving very little Bitcoin for Poloniex customers. Bitcoin is not the only asset with problems. The situation with Ethereum is also dire. At the beginning of December, less than 9% of all Ether that was supposed to be in the reserves was actually native Ether. On every month since December of 2024, the native Ether has been a minority, with the remainder being either Ether lent on Aave or in the form of staked Ether from Lido. Adding to this strangeness, the total amount of Ether on exchange has fallen approximately 70% since its peak in May of 2025. USDT, or Tether, is the most important stablecoin for HTX. Again, very frequently almost all the USDT on exchange is not native USDT, but is instead lent out, especially on Aave, but also on Justin Sun-founded JustLend. For December 2025, there was a total of approximately 1.78 billion USDT on HTX, but 1.44 billion of that was lent out on Aave, with an additional 96 million lent on JustLend, and an additional 18 million in Justin Sun-founded staked Tether, which also lends its tokens through Aave. As of this most recent update, only 12% of the USDT on the exchange is actually native USDT. USDC, the stablecoin issued by Circle, which owned Poloniex before selling it to Justin Sun, shows many of the same problems as USDT, but in smaller scale. More than half of the 53 million USDC on the exchange, totaling over $30 million, is currently lent on Morpho. All of these many different assets, the Bitcoin that is supposed to be on the exchange but is instead managed in an opaque manner by Poloniex, the Ether that is lent out and staked, the stablecoins that are lent out, are extraordinarily unusual for an exchange and raise serious questions about the internal controls, management, and safety of the HTX exchange.
Informed crypto news at protos.com.